Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Slinging Dirt. Tonight, joining us, as always, is our regular commentator at our speedway down here, Mr. Alan Rourke. Welcome, Rourke.
Mate, great to be here. Fantastic.
Another nice day of weather, mate. Can't knock the weather here in Tassie at the moment. It's brilliant.
Yeah, well, I did tell you guys, summer was going to be a Thursday this year.
Yep.
You didn't listen?
No, we didn't. But yeah, we're definitely going to get some great weather again tomorrow, and we've had some great weather all week, so it's been awesome. And joining us also tonight, one of our special guests. We've got two tonight. We've got Stephen Harvey. Welcome, Stephen.
Thanks, guys. Good to be here.
Excellent, mate. Great to have you on the show, mate. How's life treating you?
Yeah, not too bad. She was quite a warm one in Lottie today, so just tried to avoid the heat. But things are going good. Just sort of getting the car ready for this weekend. So, pretty busy at the minute.
Cool. We'll get to that very shortly, mate. But first of all, we'll do a quick wrap up of Hobart. Rourke. The rain didn't stop us, mate. It tried, but it didn't succeed, did it? We had another great meeting down Hobart on the weekend with the Triple Crown Series wrapping up, as well as other sport divisions. Great racing all round, wasn't it?
Oh, it certainly was. And I often say, look, if you have a track that's within a second of the lap record for the features, it's hooked up.
Yeah.
There was no doubt about it. It was on. And the late models turned on some great racing. There was bit of conjecture about the cones. We'll leave that well alone.
Yep.
But the racing was sensational. Harper, once again, 3 wins for the 3 rounds. Obviously, he won the series from Ben Nicastri. What great competitor Ben Nicastri's been, coming down from New South Wales. Had family holiday. I'm really hoping that the Nicastri family become regulars back to Tassie, because Ben put on one hell of a show. Ellis Dickinson in third, great run from Ellis, very consistent. Cody Gay, Josh Padman. Josh Padman put in some of the best drives of his life over that series, and that was great to see. It was a great series. Disappointed that a few more people didn't enter, particularly down a local scene.
Yep.
For one reason or another. I understand the cost of going racing's not always easy, but 10 grand in prize money, and a huge thanks to Wade Cleary and the guys from Plant and Supervision Hire for stumming up the money and, encouraging people. And what a cracking series. You didn't need the quantity, because you had the quality.
No. Callum Harper, he just dominated the whole series. I don't think anyone, it was only Ben and Ellis and Cody that sort of struck it to him. The rest were just, he was way ahead of everyone else. And going into the mad month with the Super Sedan, he is in some red hot form at the moment. So let's hope he can and bang it on into the mad month and keep winning all these races. But he did assert himself as a dominant figure in late model racing in Tasmania, that's for sure.
Oh, well, Jason Oldfield and Ben Nicastri said, that's the big lure to come to Tassie is to race against the likes of Callum Harper, just to see where you're at that national level.
Yep. And Cody Gay, hats off to Cody. He pushed Callum the whole way in that final on Saturday night. Like they sort of split up into 2 groups. It was sort of Callum and Cody out the front having a good old ding dong, when the rest of them were all back a little bit having a ding dong battle too. But Cody Gay, he's slowly he's throwing all these different things at this car, and it's good to see a few of them starting to pay off for him and being able to match some of the best contenders in Tasmania.
Oh, without doubt. It was a fantastic drive.
Yeah.
And we saw some really good racing. Riley Monahan back on the top step in the junior top stars from Hunter Simpson and Cole McGuinness. In the new stars, it was Caleb Alexander from Mia Moore and Kaylee Smith. Streeties, Braden Russell from Trent Austin and Ludi Dickinson. In the 6 shooters, Harley Croft from Tip Frankham, Peter Farrow. And it was great to see extra numbers in the Tassie Sixers. And the big bad bruising bombers. The crowd favourite down there was Tyler Russell from Todd Bennett and Heath Bennett.
Yeah, they did some wild racing. Although I do have to ask, where's the Bombers of old gone? I thought we were allowed to have a bit of contact in this division, or was that cut out just for the weekend, or is it all cut out altogether now?
Mate, didn't you see all that carnage?
Oh, there was a bit, but I thought, I heard a few people think, the Bombers have sort of softened off a bit. So, I'm not sure. I still wouldn't get in one, but and hats off to all these drivers out there. But they just seem to be not as hitting as like they used to. But there was a couple of good bingles. I will give them that. especially in the A main. The A main got declared because of a little bingle that happened in the corner there, but hopefully everyone was A-OK.
Yeah. And of course, the carts kicked off the show, and they were in dusty conditions where the rest of the night had that shower. The downside of the carts is they all dive for that pole line, and they sweep that, and then it really sometimes becomes a one-track race. James Dillon dominated in the 125 from Dion Dillon and Bree Pettit. Then in the seniors, it was Marcus Gale who blew them away, pardon the pun. Luke Chappell and Max Blackberry. And then, of course, the little Cruise missile, Cruise Harris from Bryony Richards and Seth McMaster in the juniors. Dominant display from Little Cruise.
Yeah,
that's on a demolition mission.
That's 2 in a row, I think, isn't it? 2 wins in the cart, and he's only just a newbie into it. So look out, Ben Harris, when he gets a bit older, mate. You're going to have to get him a good Formula 500, I reckon. Cause
the Formula 500 coming up in about 2 years.
Yeah, I reckon for sure. But hats off to the late model crew from the Triple Crown, all the staff, Alan Cleary, all the drivers, the whole lot. It was a great series. We can only hope that it gets bigger and better next year. Get a few more mainlanders down here would be good, but hats off to Jason Oldfield, Ben Nicastri, and they were the only mainlanders that came down. So hats off to them for coming down, and top blokes, and hopefully they can come back down again and turn a few more laps here in Tassie.
What I like is seeing so many, particularly Ben Nicastri's t-shirts. He sold gangbusters.
Yeah, I did buy one myself, actually. They're nice t-shirts.
Nice.
Yes. No, nice bloke too. I actually had a bit of a yak to him, and the whole crew was a nice bunch of blokes. So hats off to all of them coming down to Tassie. It's great to see them come down here and race against us Tassie boys.
Not like some of those street stock drivers.
Yes.
Steve, how are you, mate?
Right, mate. So how are we rating our season, Stephen?
Mixed. Started off like the car's been good. It's been there or thereabouts, but I think the drivers probably let it down on a few occasions. Started off the season with a fair bit of damage that we had to fix, but we've got it going around quite well at Carrick last meeting out. So but sort of started the season a bit fresh. I've just been a bit frustrated the way the car had handled, and bought some new springs for it. And we've sort of just been tinkering each meeting a little bit, and it's got to sort of where I want it, I think, at the moment. So fingers crossed it's as good as it was last meeting at Carrick.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Awesome as. And we've got the big one for the street stocks this weekend, the currently printing 2020 for street stocks. Numbers seem to be down on recent years. Is that just because we haven't got the cars in the sheds this year, or is it just a few boys are just dragging their bums, getting them out of the sheds?
Yes, it's a bit of a mixed thing as that as well. So it's funny, like we still got 26, but we're saying we got real low numbers. So it's probably I know stockies are usually pushing 30s and 40s. So I was talking to Russ about this the other day. Actually, it just feels like this season. And it happened once before when we were due to have the Aussie, and then the next season numbers drop off. You have this hangover effect that gets up and keen and wants to come out and spends even money or whatever and races the Aussie, and then the year after numbers just seem to dwindle a little bit. So I think,
and it's not just with straighties; it's every division we see that happen.
I think that's one thing. There's a couple of blokes that I've talked to that are saving their cars for the Oz title, so. That's the start of Feb, so that's about 4 weeks away. But and then we've had a few that have had pretty bad damage as well. So there's Luke and Alex Weaver. Alex Weaver's got short actually building his car again, and Luke put his in the fence at Latrobe last week. Otherwise, I reckon he would have been there. So mixed reasons, but 26 is still a good number.
Yeah, in saying that, 26 cars is still good numbers for cars. That's good to see.
There's a lot of categories that would love to have 26 entries.
Yeah, for sure. Now, 2020 for people at home, Stephen, what is a 2020?
Yeah, so 2020, like obviously stockies, we're the only division that runs both directions. So we'll start the race going one way, and then 20 laps in, we'll throw a caution, and then the whole field will essentially spin around the other way, and we'll run 20 laps back the other way. So it's a good event. Filters out the people that like going one way more than the other, because you got it at both. It's sort of I guess like being that we run both ways, it's nice to have a race that makes us do that in one.
Yep.
Yeah, so no, it's good. It's a really good event. This year's the 14th running of the event. Yeah, so yeah, it'd be good to see who's there. So
And big prize money up for grabs as always.
yeah, we got some big prize money. So we got $3,000 to win, 1,500 for second, and we've got $800 for third. Haven't finalised the rest yet, but we're probably looking at paying back to 10.
Yeah, cool.
So 10th place will probably get $100. And we've got lap money as well, so $50 a lap for the leader of each lap of the A main.
Yep. So well, 40 laps, $50 each. How many? Oh, what's that?
So that's $2,000.
$2,000 just in the finals, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you win and you lead every lap, that's $5,000. So
yeah, that's not a bad payout for a street stock driver, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty good for us. Like, a lot of people that I've talked to, they haven't got their cars out. They're saying, "Oh, we don't want to bring them out. It's going to be nuts." Like, when there's money on the line. But I've seen street stock races when we're not running for any prize money, and it's wild. So I don't think it will be. It's normally everyone's been pretty well behaved, to be honest, the last few years. So, but having that lap money, it does make that front position urgent. So you want to start ticking dollars over, you've got to get there. So it creates a bit more entertaining. Like if you're running second, you're not just going to settle in and pick your time. You might want to go for something a bit earlier than you wouldn't have. So, yeah, it's a great event. Massive thanks to Currently Printing for coming on as our major sponsor. So, Brad and Taylor there. They're massive supporters of Speedway. So you'll see lots of cars getting around with their stickers on them.
Yep.
Yeah, they do really good stuff. So everything from like wraps to die-cut stickers. We've got some notes, digital printing, business signage, utes, vans and trailers. They also do some merchandise stuff, so some business cards, posters, flyers, stubby holders. So he's also, as part of his sponsorships, doing the corporate signs for us and all the stickers that are going on the cars. So, yeah, can't thank him enough for coming on board as our major sponsor. So we've also got Racer Industries sponsoring our caution. So every time the caution comes out, it'll be a Racer Industries caution. And we've got Yarns with J-Halves white flag. So same deal with the whites. So
that's a good idea. I like that idea. That's great. Yeah, something different.
Throw something up there a bit different. Yeah, again, massive thanks to those guys for coming on board. So, and we've got heaps of lap sponsors. So managed to sell all the laps, which is awesome. We're gonna have a board at the track with all the sponsors' names on them. So and yeah, we've been promoting them fairly heavily on the Facebook page. So yeah, massive thanks to everyone that's chipped in. We've had everyone, businesses to people that race themselves, to people that sit on the bank and love coming and watching stockies. And, we've got one of our sponsors has never been to Carrick before. Just go to Latrobe, and they're going to make the journey down and come both nights because they've sponsored a couple laps. So it's a big deal to some people, which is cool. It sort of made me realise how many people appreciate stocky racing, which is nice. I know we do, but you always love your own division. It's just nice to know.
It's a great night to race, and you can't go past it. You got 2020 for the street stocks, and we've got the inaugural Gene Cook Memorial for super sedans with 32 super sedans racing. It's going to be a great weekends of racing action. Like, if you've never been to Carrick before, you need to be there this weekend because you got the cream of the cream in super sedan drivers and some of the best in the state for street stock drivers. Can anyone beat Braden Russell, Stephen?
Well, I was talking to him during the week, and he might have a bit of an engine gremlin, so we'll see how that. Yeah, but yeah, and he'll be the one to beat for sure. He's chalked up most of the features this season, so and obviously he won the first feature at Carrick. So, but Russ is always there, always turns up on the big meetings, doesn't he? So 40 laps is a big race. Lots can happen. Lap traffic. Like the car's got to hold on. If the track's rough, you got to look after tyres. Got to keep the fuel in it. Sometimes that's an issue because we only run small tanks in these things. So, and we run a lot of fuel in them, as you see. So, that's there's a lot that can come into it. It's definitely not just going to be a short thing. So
And
we'll all be at 45, I reckon.
yeah. And going both ways, does that really interfere with you much? Is it just as simple as we're turning the other way now, or does it take a few laps to sort of get back into it?
No, I prefer it. Like, we do the Ironman, which is 50 the one way, and that is like, my leg went numb. Like, we nearly ran 45 laps straight at Latrobe.
Yeah.
And my leg went numb and my neck was sore from going the same way for so many laps. So swapping it back, it sort of gives the body a reset. And help us, you got a race where you know there's going to be at least one caution. So that isn't a given in any race, and you can kind of use that to your advantage if you're sort of in a spot and you fair gap to someone and you know there's no point pushing and wrecking your stuff because you're not going to get there, but you can sort of hang on and wait for the caution and you be with them, and then you go for it then. So it's unique in that respect that you're not just running the whole way through, which you don't get a guarantee of in most races. So some people just take the first 20 easy, others definitely don't. We have a mix. Like, sometimes we go right through, and then others it's stoppage central. So can't pick it. It's always entertaining though, which is the main thing.
Yeah, no, you can't.
And that's the thing. It's going to be a massive night of entertainment with the 2020 and the Gene Cook Memorial.
Yeah. It's a great. Massive thanks to Carrick as well. I only messaged their management page the start of December, so we've only really had a month to sort of organise this whole thing. And I just said to them, I was like, "Is there any chance we can run it? It's only really on 2 nights at Carrick. We'd like to keep it going. It's sort of been a good event the last few years, and sort of knowing we were probably paying second fiddle to the supers, and that was going to be the big ticket card. I wasn't sort of expecting a yes, definitely, but no, Steve was real supportive. He's been really helpful with all this whole process. I've never ran an event before, so I've had a fair few questions. And yeah, he hasn't stopped answering my phone calls and emails yet. So no, massive thanks to them. Like, I'm only seeing the amount I nod them, so I'm sure they get phones must be flat out all the time, organised other divisions and the supers and sponsors and everything. So can't be more thankful to those guys for letting us be a part of what's going to be a massive event.
Yep. And then there's all the huge numbers of fans that just keep messaging the page anyway.
Yeah, complaining about on or what's going on.
Well, all the info's up there on the Facebook page and the website, but I don't know what's going on. But people, just send a message rather than do a bit of reading.
I have noticed that a bit.
Guys are volunteers, they've got their own lives and businesses, that sort of thing. I saw someone message the other day, and then they hadn't got a response straight away, so they just put a question mark.
Yeah. Nah, I get that all the time, and it's like I don't spend all my time sitting on Facebook. That's for sure. Like, we do use it for work, and we do use it for other stuff, but I definitely don't sit on Facebook all the time. So if I don't get back to you straight away, there's a reason why. So, but and state title, when's that, Stephen?
I think they just released that was going to be, I think it's March, maybe.
Yeah.
It's Latrobe. It's second last meeting at Latrobe, whenever that is. So I think it's sometime in March.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss that one. I've sort of committed to leaving my car over the track before they announce the date. So we're heading over to the Oz title in Feb and staying over there for the midweek show and the South Australian title afterwards, and then we're going to leave the car over there and fly back and do the big title and a bit more racing in Victoria afterwards. So sort of decision we made, and sort of something I'm keen to do. I'd like to see a few more tracks and try some different stuff. I've had a fair few cracks at the Tassie, but it's just something we sort of couldn't make work. And now that you can't just drive a car on the Spirit anymore, cheap to just bring it back for one show. So that'll be good. Be interested to see what happens. Like, it's a fair way away yet, but could be anyone's really.
And where's the Oz title, mate?
Over at Mowbridge, South Australia.
Right. That's a tight little track. That's going to be interesting for street stocks.
It's a tight track. It's a fast track. It's banking. I raced there. I actually had some Facebook memories come up recently. I raced there 15 years ago in my junior sedan, so that was the first time I'd been to the mainland racing, and I was surprised. It was pretty wide open, like similar gearing to Latrobe, but the banking to hold you. So the track's a bit smaller, but the banking lets you carry a lot more speed. So they put on some good racing. I've watched a few meetings there and stockies and stuff, but yeah, we'll be struggling to catch the Magna, I reckon.
Yeah, they definitely got it over him, haven't they, the Magnus?
They do, and yeah, he's out of that area, and he's done lots of laps around there. So he's saying he come to Latrobe and was quick time and didn't lose a single race. So on his home turf, he's going to have something horribly go wrong, I think, for anyone to get close to him.
There is talk a couple of Magnas in Tassie, isn't there, down the track?
There is. We've got Benny Bolt's brought his out already. He raced out the Proddies at boxing night, and then ran Latrobe went meeting after as a street stock. So I think he's missing this weekend. He does fly out work, so he wasn't able to make it. There's talks of Thong Hammond's building a 380.
Yep.
I think Emily Williams is building a Magna, and I heard there was a Riley down the northwest coast that's building one.
Yeah,
so
right. Yep.
they're probably about trickling through, maybe early next season, late this season. It'd be interesting to see where the division goes.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I never would have thought front-wheel drive cars would be a car to be reckoned with on Speedway, but it's definitely turned out that way, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, you've seen Orion sort of had a run there for a while in mods and sort of didn't do a lot, but these Magnus seem to have it worked out, whatever they're doing. So
awesome.
You followed one. Like, how wobbly are the wheels when you?
And I think that's why they're so quick. I don't know what they're doing in that back end. You'd have to ask Bruce Burgett. But there's something. They're not tracked. The back end's loose. They're basically using it as rear steer to pull them around the corners. So it'd be nice if something was introduced to maybe sort that out. It might bring him back a bit to it. So he's been at it for credit to him. They spent 5 years making that thing quick. And whatever he's done now, he's worked it out. So,
Awesome, Stephen. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, mate. And we hope it all goes well on the weekend for you and your trip to the mainland with Aussie title. You can't race by yourself, mate. Before we go, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank, like personally off your own car?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with Mum and Dad because they're pretty much the heart of everything we do here. So Dad's. And before this, me and Dad was sorting a few things out with the car, and when I'm at work, he's chasing things up for me or running things around. I'd struggle to do it without him. That's for sure. He's a big part of helping this team. So, my partner obviously for letting me do all this stuff. I spent a lot of time in the shed this time of year, and she's pretty supportive of what goes into making this thing quick. So. Really appreciate her. A leader that helps us in the pits every week. She's a massive help. And obviously my sponsors. So Direct Access and Equipment have supported me for basically my whole stocky career. Big supporters of lots of other divisions and cars. So massive thanks to them. Rose's News Agency. They've been a massive help with us going over to the mainland and helping us pay for the trip. So massive thanks to them. Mitchelson Petroleum. Bought me a whole heap of new tyres recently to take over and chuck on the car, so huge help. Visionscape Landscapes and Central Water Supply. Really appreciate the support.
Awesome, mate, and no doubt you'll be up that front end on the weekend. I know the way you drive, Steve, and you're no slouch behind the wheel of that street stock, so it'd be good to...
Particularly late in the run. I seem to notice there's a few guys like yourself that don't do much in the first 10, 15 laps, and then you get yourself in a good spot for that turnaround and then start to bring it home hard.
It's funny division stockies, they're essentially road cars. You look under them, they got the springs and the shocks are a bit custom, but everything else we run's factory. It's nothing that you can't get on a road car, and I don't think GM would just decided to make them for us doing what we do with them, and you kind of have to look up a little bit. They're not purpose-built race cars, and they're not built to be driven 10 tenths all the time, and especially in long races. Like Barry was the king of, he'd get in front and he'd just set a pace. He wouldn't, you see all of his wins, he'd only just won. He only just done enough to sort of get there, and he was really good at being quick but managing his stuff as well. So other guys like Jamie Oldfield's probably the quickest stocky driver out there, but he tears a lot of stuff up driving it that hard. Like he's done a lot of wraps and tyres and stuff over the piece where he probably should have won Oz titles. And so it's a tough one. You got to find that balance of being quick but looking after it. I probably looked after mine a bit too much last year. I got in front, everything went quiet, and I sort of managed because a few ruts coming in pit turn, and I started hearing a sound that started getting louder and louder, and sure enough, Russ had come on a charge, and I think he only led the last 2 laps, and I had nothing for him at that stage. He just blew my doors off. So yeah, it's a tough deal. You gotta be quick, but you gotta look after him too. So it's finding that balance and kind of working the track out too. Like as the race goes on, you can sort of tune where you're driving and where your car's good, and you can work it out as the race develops. And the track sort of changes with us a little bit too. Like where most divisions dried out, we actually bring the moisture back. So a line that might have been good early sort of starts shifting or changes, or the way you need to get in the corner changes, because where it was dry and skatey before, it starts bringing moisture back and you got a lot more grip, or it becomes skatey because it starts going slippery. So stoppages seem to actually have a massive impact. Just rolling the track and packing it seems to bring the moisture back. That happened our last meet at Carrick. The track completely changed after the last stoppage, and it's just, you just got to just keep at it and just keep trying stuff. And I think the people that have been around a while sort of know how to do that sort of better than others, and that's probably why you see like Russ and that turn it on with 5 or 10 to go, because they've done plenty of laps and they know where to put it. So
that's dead true. I've seen a lot of you blokes just come home late when the ones that have looked after their cars the most end up in front. So best of luck, Steve, for the weekend, and thanks for joining us tonight. We hope it all goes well, and like I said, big shout out, make sure you get there. Currently printing 2020 for the street stocks as well as June Cook Memorial. But yeah, thanks for joining us tonight, Steve. Hope it all goes well for the rest of the season, and we might catch up later on in the season and have a bit more of a yak, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers, mate. Have a good one. Righto, next up tonight on our podcast is Chris Gallagher. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good for a chat.
How's things going, mate?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's exciting being back in the supers and so many cars. So it's a pretty tough gig, though. You know, going from 12 sprint cars, I guess, to 26 local super sedans. That 12 or 14 of them are pretty good. So
Yeah, and we got.
And you were leading the whole lot there for a while. What was going through your mind? You're out in front, you know that Harper, Nichols, Aylett, all the crew back there, Latham, Dillon, they're all back there, Dickinson, they're all back there, keen to charge their way forward. You're out in front. What was going through your mind?
Well, it's hard because I haven't drove for such a long time. It's hard to know what speed you're setting, you know. So I didn't know, was I slow? Was running the bottom the place to be? Obviously having a bit more experience, you know if you're fast enough. So it was very hard for me to dictate whether I was actually generally quick enough. And it's easy when you come back and everyone said, you was a bit in front. So when I got the lap traffic, I didn't try to rush up behind them. I tried to sort of gradually get there to try to pick where they were running. And obviously I didn't do a good enough job. And Callum does what Callum does best and snaps people up. Not the only one.
He's a hard man to keep behind you, isn't he? There's no doubt about it. If he's behind you, you've got to be on your A game, because one little simple mistake and he's through that gap and gone. And you know, he's proved it the last few weeks, not only in the super sedan but in the late model. He can just put that thing wherever he wants, and it's gone. So and it's hard out front, isn't it, Chris? Because you can't judge whether you're actually faster than everyone else in the field. You've got to sort of judge yourself off the back marker cars, don't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think once we got past Nathan, or I think it was, and we got to the back of young Jacob, who, and the speed he was setting, like I was, obviously Harvey was in front of me and was behind Jacob, and the speed that he was setting was really fast. Like it wasn't like, we was just cruising around behind him. Like I know I spoke to Callum after it. Jacob was setting a fairly good speed, even though he was a lap car at the time. But it just goes to show that the quality of cars and how fast the cars actually are. I don't think there's really too many slow ones to say to speak. It's just mainly now, it's track position and grid draws is a massive part these days. Like it's huge. Like you need to get a front row and get a top 2 or 3, because if you're coming from 2 6s, it's really tough.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough this weekend because look at the field we've got. We've got 32 super sedans, right? We've got all the local drivers which have been racing over the last few weeks. Plus, we have Australia 1 Joel Berkeley, Mick Nicola Sr., Zach Pascoe, Brad Pascoe, Stephen Jordan, Brock Atkins, who's been winning everything on the mainland, Lucas Roberts, Michael Halley, and Mitchell Rigney joining us for the Gene Cook Memorial this weekend. So that just throws another spanner in the mix again, doesn't it, Chris?
Oh, I went to the Australian title last year at Murray Bridge. Joel and I think it was Mitchell G, the way they bashed the balls down. So no doubt the fans are in for a treat because I don't think he knows any other way.
Yeah.
So he put on a good show, and obviously he got Brad, Pascoe, who just does what Brad does, and then what Brock Atkins is doing at the moment is pretty impressive in that new Gen 6 car. So I think they'll be keen to get to Tassie, see where they're at too. Obviously it'd be good for us to see where we're at against them, but I think that they'll be really keen to see where they match up against Callum as well.
Yeah. I think you already know where you are, Chris. When you can keep Callum up and behind you for 3/4 of the race, mate, you're not doing a bad job.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
Hats off to your crew.
And it all comes to grid draws though. At the end of the day, it's, like I say, if you draw 2 6s and you got Callum, Brock, Nichols, Beachy, Brad McMaster, reel them off. If you got them in front, it's going to be hard to pass them. So
The benefit, though, this is a unique racing format, 13 lap heats. So a couple extra laps, if you are got that, mid-pack grid draw, a couple extra laps could come in handy.
Yeah, 100%. Or, could be bad for you if you're leading, I guess. So, it does give them good guys a chance to get you. But, yeah, look, I'm pretty satisfied where our car's at. Like, I think the car's fast enough, and if I just do my job right, I think we'll be fine.
Yep. And for everyone out there, Chris, what car have you got?
I've got a Dominator.
Yep.
It's a Gen 4, so it's a 4-bar car. I got that off Kim Drury. So it's obviously got a lot of good gear. Kim looked after his stuff really well, so we started off on the right foot. Didn't buy an average car. We bought a really good car, and then I let my old man, as Rourke's known my dad for a long time, does his little wizardry, and it sorts itself out.
He's a bit of a demon, is our Desmond, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves it. Even though I come second at that Jeff Stagg, he run up to me and give me a big hug, and that's very rare for Dad. He's emotionless. He just does his thing, and he was just so proud that he knew we had the fastest car. We just didn't quite finish it off, so it was really good.
Yeah. No, that back markers, if you can't quite get the back markers right, it can really make you pay, can't it?
That's racing though. And that, at the end of the day, I've had a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you should have won that," or if I should have won it, I would have won it. But I didn't. Unfortunately, I just, and when I spoke to Callum, he goes, "If you didn't do it, I was going to do it."
Yeah.
So it was just that I did it at the time, and Callum took advantage of that, and I'd rather lose like that than trying to pass the car rather than just sit behind and then Callum whip around me, and you would have been, why didn't I do that? So.
And I spoke to Callum Harper after that meeting that night, and he told me that he had nothing for you, absolutely nothing. Like, if it wasn't for the back markers, like bringing the field back, he was not going to catch you. So for him to say that, you're going all right. So
and he's a ripping fella too. He's a ripping fella.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's, I don't know if he gets a bit of a hard time from some people, you know, they either love him or hate him, but he's a really good race car driver. He's a really clean race car driver. As long as you drive him clean, I think he's one of them guys. He'll race you the way you race him, and that's all you can ask of people, I guess. And yeah, I mean, he's good for a reason. So
Yep.
Yeah, well, I've always said people love him because he's so good, and people hate him because he's so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep. That's
same
it.
reason.
It doesn't matter.
He's one of those guys, and he is just so good.
Yep.
And that was what he said. He was looking up the track going, I've got nothing for this guy, but I can see some back markers. When he zigs, I'm going to zag.
Yep.
yeah,
And that's exactly what he did. He picked a hole that not many drivers would have went through, but he just went, nah, I'm going through. So, you know,
and he didn't even touch me. Like, it was, you know, and we all come together with other cars, and he was able to make it pretty clean and, you know, pretty straightforward. But yeah, like, I got a lot of admiration for him, and I think we're just so lucky to be able to race against him on a regular basis because, you know, these big races come and you know if you can be on the pace of him, you're going to be there. And you know, you look at Beachy, Nichols, Alexander, Jetsons, you reel them off. There's all of us guys have ran there with him. It's just if all of us can be as consistent as he is, I think we can, you know, beat him. But
And
that's been a great thing for Tassie Super Sedan Racing. He's raised the bar. Everyone's had to come up to it. And so the whole standard is as good as anywhere on the planet.
Oh, absolutely. You just go down through the list so far. I think I was talking to Wayne Dillon at Latrobe, you know, and he was saying that, like last year, there was all of a sudden you've got, you know, myself's come in, Jacob Jetson's come in, Beachy's in full time now, then obviously Lee Aylett. So all of a sudden, if you're a top 5 car, you might be just a top 10 car.
Yeah.
That's how tough it's become.
Well, Jake Wessing with his new car, he's found some really quick speed at times. So get that consistency happening, he'll be there.
Yeah, well, he's coming, you know, for a guy that's never raced anything, you know, from just done some dirt bike stuff, and obviously he's one of my major sponsors, and I couldn't do it without him. Like, he's been a massive help, and it's just a matter of just ticking off some boxes for him, you know, just do laps, and because it's one of them things, you can't really do too much to your car until you're up to the speed, because once you start getting to that speed, then the cars react different. So it's just a matter of small baby steps for him, unfortunately, at this present stage, and yeah.
And Chris, you've raced wingless sprints, you've raced sprint cars, and then you went into a super sedan. Now, there's not many drivers that do that. Like, what made you go to sedan racing after open wheel racing for so long?
Well, I actually originally started in sedans because obviously Dad raced them, and I got into them. I actually raced supers for a few years when I was 21-ish, and it was sounds stupid, but it was so expensive at the time, and there was the bar cars just started coming in, and we just thought, like, we just couldn't afford these big engines you need for these bar cars at that time, and so we sold the Super prematurely, and that was it for me. And then Dad was like, I want to buy a wingless sprint. So I was like, oh, if you get one, I'll get one. And then, so we got to race together for a few years, and that was pretty cool. I think I crashed him a couple of times, which he still reminds me about, but hey, it's okay. And then probably biggest regret I did have was probably going on a sprint car so fast, because I just started to win a lot of races with the wingless sprint, and probably was just too much of a premature jump. Just thought, oh, I'm good here, let's go to the next biggest thing. And the fact is, you just can't afford to do that stuff. I mean, me and my dad are only on wages, and it's just so hard to be able to keep up with them guys, you know. And yeah, so I just got to that point where we just couldn't do it. I love sprint cars, I think they're the best thing. They're cool lads, and it's unfortunate here, but if you go watch them at Warrnambool or, you know, Toowoomba or wherever it may be, that you just can't fathom what they can do in them good guys. So, but you need money, and that's a young man's game. And that was when Dad said, you're a long time retired. If you think you still got something to give, give it a shot. And yeah, then shout out to Lee Aylett. I've known him since he was a little baby. Now families or friends, and he was looking out for cars for me. He rang me one day and said, "Oh, jury just for sale." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, that's a good car." It was a bit more expensive, but obviously a quality car. So yeah, we're back in the supers.
Yep, and I know the answer to this, but for the people at home, are they similar to drive a sprint car to a super sedan?
Nah,
No. Yeah.
absolutely not. I mean, a sprint car, you know, lays to the left. When you go turned into the corner, it lays very hard to the left. It's very, when they're good, they're very comfortable. Once you get used to the speed, they're very nice because they just lay left. They don't really bounce. Where the super, that's probably been one of the first few meetings were very tough because all of a sudden you come into the corner and the right front's digging into the ground and the left rear's hiking up, and it's very, very uncommon.
Yep.
But that's just what you got to get used to. You kind of feel like you're going to roll all the time. And I think the first time I came in, I was like, "Dad, this thing's going to flip." And he's like, "It's not even rolling over." And I looked on the videos and it's not even rolling. It just feels that way.
And do you run a crate or an open motor, Chris?
We got an open.
Yep.
Yeah, we got an open. I wanted to go down the crate path just for the affordability, and that's probably been the best thing for supers. You know, and it speaks for itself.
Yep.
You know, the amount of cars that are coming, because people can do, I don't know, 4 or 5 years on a crate engine and it costs you 20 grand or whatever it may be, and you can be competitive. I mean, that's the thing, like you can't put a crate engine in a sprint car and turn up and be super competitive with 410s.
No.
But you can with supers, and you get a bit lighter weight rule, which helps in the front end too. So yeah, I think it's great. It's unreal.
Yeah, we can ask Marcus Alexander. He runs a crate engine, you know, and he's competitive as every single week.
Oh.
You know, like he's no
He's
slouch.
super. Well, he's super, and he's a top fella too. You know, like, and his laid back attitude to it's what people should strive for. You know, he's never fast, never worried about too much, and he's super quick. So.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And righto, so let's get it. We have got the Water North Gene Cook Memorial this weekend. Like, how good was Gene Cook as a driver? I've got a few statistics here, right? He was admitted into the Australian Hall of Fame and the Tassie Hall of Fame. He was 3 times Marlborough Grand Prix national winner at the Liverpool track. He was the 1980.
Now, the thing we've got to realise there, Jamie, that was an asphalt track back in the day.
Yes, it was. He was the 1983 Tassie Super Sedan champion. He won the Super Sedan Grand Prix at Latrobe twice. He won the Tassie Grand National twice. He raced touring cars. He raced sports sedans. He raced Bathurst twice. He was a big influence in NASCAR racing in Australia at the time. He won the Australian Saloon Car Championship in 1969. He won the Australian Pavement Sedan Championship in 1983. He won the Tasmanian Production Sedan Championship in 1969, the South Australian Grand National Champion in 1983, and he was also a very talented mechanic and engine builder. So the credentials speak for themselves, don't they?
Too. Like when it came to chassis setup and understanding, you know, suspension loads and all those sort of things, he was a very smart guy.
Yeah.
So I had to laugh. Had a bit of a joke, and one of the young crew guys, he's really never been to Speedway, and he's an apprentice at work, so he helps me out now, and he was sort of saying, "Who's Gene Cook?" And I sort of had a laugh, trying to bait my old man up, and I was like, to be honest, I wouldn't have no clue. Dad, was he any good? Because obviously he's before my time, and my old man swung around, I was like, "Are you kidding?" He's like, straight away, I was like, "I'm just taking the piss," you know, because straight away he swung around to me, because, you know, it was in Dad's heyday when he was a young fella, you know.
Yeah.
And even though, I don't know if you've seen the picture on Facebook that Dave Nichols put up about him in the shed there at Dave's, and just must have been a wizard, a real wizard.
I remember the first time I ever laid eyes on any cars he raced was an Ultra Runner at Penguin Speedway. I think it had triple carbs on it. It was a 6-cylinder. And it went like the clappers. And Penguin Speedway, you know, you'd remember it, Rocky. I don't know whether Chris would. But it was downhill and uphill, and going down into 1 and 2 was just crazy. You think, nah, they're not going to get through the other side. But every single lap after lap, they'd be round the corner and back up the hill. It was a shame that track didn't last very long, because it had sorted a few drivers out today. Classic driver, you know. TAA was a big sponsor of his for years and years. You know, like he had the Commodore there at one stage, and he raced against great names like Cess Hendricks, Cess Hendricks, Chaz Kelly, Denzel Mead, Neville Harper,
Neville Harper.
you know, like the list goes on and on. But he was such a great talent for Australian Speedway and NASCAR racing. You know, the hats off to the whole family of Gene Cook's family. Like, it's credit to have an absolute legend like him in the family, and it's great to see Carrick Speedway getting behind this and bringing out a memorial for him, because I think it's going to really take off over the next few years.
It'd be an honour to win the first one, I think, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you want sentimental value, it'd be pretty cool to see Dave win it if I didn't win it. But, you know, to win a first one like this would be pretty cool.
Yep.
But probably not going to happen, but we'll give it a crack.
It's going to be tough. 32 super sedans, Rocky. Like,
Yeah, I'm looking at the names, and it's like, as you said before, it's a who's who of super sedan racing in the country. There's no doubt about it.
yep.
6 heats on Friday night, 13 laps each heat. 13 was Gene's racing number in NASCAR. It used to be sponsored by Country Club as well as Shell.
Yep.
And a big help for a lot of us who were down the tail end of the field. Gene was super helpful, as were a few of the other guys. Then there'll be a prelim final for odds and evens on the Friday night. Then on the Saturday night, there'll be another 3 heats. Then there'll be a top 10 dash over 13 laps. Then there'll be a top 11 to 20 dash over 13 laps. And the A-main over 41 laps. Why those weird numbers? People have been saying, well, those were some of Gene's racing numbers.
Yep.
His 2 main racing numbers in Speedway and NASCAR racing, so why not? And the great thing I'm looking forward to is, you know, Scott's put together this tribute car. It was not Gene's actual car, but it was a chassis that he built. So a Gene Cook replica Commodore. It's going to be sensational.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
That'll be on display at the track, and I'm really hoping they get the opportunity to turn some rolling laps in that, because Scott's done an amazing job on it.
Yeah, I have seen a couple of little sneak pics of that car, and it looks pretty damn good. Like,
Yeah.
hats off to Scott Piper, and it's not the first car he's done. He likes to do these older cars up, and hats off to him for doing that. Also on the program, we've got street stocks this weekend, Formula 500s juniors and seniors, new stars, top stars on the Friday night, and on the Saturday night we've got street stocks, super sedans, new stars, top stars, and Tassie Sixes. So got a pretty stacked weekend of racing coming on. Who's going to be your biggest rival, Chris?
Oh, probably 20 of them, I guess. If you don't want to be too rude, because you can't. I mean, like I said, I think you got to look on the front rows of every heat.
Yep.
Because, you know, if you get a heat win or a second, you know, that really propels you up. And what will really confuse some people is obviously there's 3 heats over the 2 nights. So we get 2 heats on the first night, 1 on the second night. So our grid draw's already come out. So already the anxiety knowing where we start this far out's not the best. But anyway. But, you know, you might have someone like myself who's I've got a 6 and a pole.
Yep.
So, you know, if I can capitalise on them, you might go into the odds and even final in a really, really good position.
Yep.
But then you come out and you're 11th in your 3rd heat. So then that can drop you back down the list if you don't come through. And like, I looked at my last heat where I'm last. I think I got Berkeley. There's that many good ones. There's Corey, there's Nichols, like I said, every heat's got them, but when you got to start behind them, it's really hard to get in front of them. So,
And 41.
yeah, look, I think definitely Berkeley, Pascal, and Atkins. I think they'll be good because
Yep.
I mean they're good everywhere, and then obviously our 6 or 7 really top flighters here are always going to be good. So, well, you can't really care too much. So I try to. My mentality these days is if you're good enough, you'll find your way there.
Yep.
You know, you can't lose sleep over it. If you do the maintenance on your car right, make good decisions, you'll finish where you deserve to finish.
Yep. Yep.
Let the race come to you.
Yeah,
41 laps is a long way around Carrick, that's for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Like, I can't pick one. Like, I really don't. I've got probably 5 or 6 drivers in my head, but yeah, like you said, Chris, who do you pick? You know, you got the best. You got the
What
best.
I want to know, He's how did you whittle it down to 5 or 6?
Oh, you know,
I'm
just
looking
on
about 13 or 14.
yeah, just on current form. You look at him. You know,
Yeah,
I'll
I'm looking
actually.
at current form.
You know, you look at Joel Berkeley. He's winning just
Yeah.
about everything he races in. You look at Brock Atkins at the moment. He's winning everything he races in.
Yeah.
Callum Harper winning everything he's racing in. Brad Pascoe.
Brad Pascoe loves coming here.
There, loves
Mick
Tasmania.
Senior has
Yep.
won a lot at Carrick. He just, I don't know what it is about Carrick, but he just always lifts. And
David
Noel
Nichols.
family, regular visitors, Dave Nichols,
Yeah.
at a discount.
He's due,
Dave?
David Nichols is, because he hasn't won many features this year, so he's due for a win. And he loves Carrick. Like, you never
Yeah.
write the old man off at Carrick because, like I
No.
said, he might be a bit older than these blokes, but he can mix it with the young fellas quite well. So,
Reggie, Luke Gunn,
Yeah.
McMaster, like there's some quick ones there as well.
Chris Gallagher, you know, Chris is, you know, you can't say that you're not in with a
that's right.
chance, Chris. Yeah. Especially after losing.
Corey's had a win there already
Yeah.
this year. Alexander's,
Yeah,
he was banging the house down
Yeah.
Latrobe, you know.
yeah.
So
Jacob
Luke
Jetson.
Gunn, yeah,
You
there's
know.
heaps.
Jacob Jetson will
Yeah.
get better. He'll improve out of sight.
Yeah.
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 You just can't pick. You'll be rude because you're going to leave people out and you look through the list. Like Lee Aylett, he'll
Yeah.
be thereabouts.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Who do you?
Wayne
Yeah,
Dillon's
Matt
due.
Dillon.
quick. He's a late nomination. He was messaging the page. Can I let you know after Sunday night? Monday morning, I need to look at the damage. You know, I'll let you know if I'm going on the boat or not. You know.
So it's pretty tough, isn't it? Like, it's pretty tough. Like, it's one of the things that is undersold. Like,
Yeah.
we've got 4 big races in a row that all need nomination fees. And, I mean, to have to come up with them, you know, we have to come up with one on the 4th, the Grand Prix Grand National on the 5th,
Yep.
then the state title on the 8th. I mean, I know for a lot of people that'd be hard.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, but you might have to re-look at that and going forward to allow people to probably do it week to week because a lot of people are week to week
Yep.
funded races, and including myself. Like when you got to outlay, you know, $600 before you're about to go on a 4-week span, and you don't even know if you get through the first one.
Yep. Yeah.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, and plus you have to pay to go in the gate as well, you know, and a lot of people don't realise that the drivers pay to go in the gate, they don't get in the gate for free, you know, so...
I will give a shout out to Latrobe Speedway. They've put up the drivers get in for free on both nights,
Oh,
Grand Prix and
cool.
Grand National. So I'll shout out the guy and the crew at Latrobe Speedway. So
Yeah, no, well
Well,
done,
there's
well
some good
done.
prize money coming up. You've got to look at that. There's 10 grand to win this weekend. $23,000 total in prize money for super sedans. Over those 4 weeks, there's $114,000 in prize money all up. So, you know, if you go all right, you're going to get that money back and then some.
Yeah,
you know, I think if you just finish out, if you make the A, you're probably going to get your that money back.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
Yep.
you know, 36 cars need 20 in it. You've only got to have one bad heat. Yeah, that's the fun of it, though, isn't it? The fun of it is that's what it's all about. You know, you got to do a real good job to get there.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. No, I've got no doubt you'll make it, Chris. I've got no doubt.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
make it.
that's so.
Yeah, you got a pole position, mate, you'll be right. So,
Hopefully.
yeah, and like you said, grid draws do come down to it, especially when you got, I think we'll have 11 cars, if not 10 cars in a heat. So, you know, that's a lot of cars in a heat to be racing
Absolutely.
around Carrick, because, you know, Carrick's not the biggest track in Australia. It's a nice track. It's one of the best tracks in Australia, I reckon, but it's not the biggest track compared to Latrobe and Hobart. So, passing is definitely a lot harder on Carrick, isn't it?
They've got a lot better since they had banked it a bit. You know, I think that my old man used to say to me, the one cardinal sin he never did was pass coming out of turn 2 at Carrick because it always sucked
Yeah.
up in the wall. But
Yeah.
now, that seems like that's where you go to,
Yeah.
you know, to pass cars. So they've done a really good job with adding some banking and, you know, and you commend tracks and you want to go and help them tracks out that actually are making improvements. And
Yep.
it doesn't go unnoticed from the drivers, I'm sure. And you're always going to get bad track nights and stuff, but there's nothing better when you see a track and they're trying to do stuff. It's like Hobart when they put clay on it. At least you won't get knocked if you're trying.
Yeah, yep, yep.
So
And the mainlanders coming down, Chris, does that bother you at all racing against the mainlanders, or do you look forward to it every season?
I think you've got to look forward to it. I mean, I'm in a pretty lucky spot where I've got to race against like James McFadden, Jamie Veal, Carson Macedo and these type of blokes. So I don't really think that the competition worries me in that regard, because again, I still believe that if you do everything right, you'll finish where you deserve to finish. No matter, like, if you're fast enough, you'll get there. I mean, there's no secret. Every national title and every big race you go to, the good guys, no matter what format it is, the good guys always end up at the front. So if you're one of them good guys, you'll get up there some way or another.
Yep. Nah, awesome. Can't
That
wait.
cream always does rise to the top, doesn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. Always has and always will. So, you know, if you're going to lay in bed worrying about, you'll lose a lot of sleep worrying about them things, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Definitely for sure. Racing starts both nights, 5 o'clock, I think, Rocky, is that right? I actually haven't write that
first
down.
night 5:30.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Don't quote me on that.
No, I could be wrong
the run
too.
sheets, but
Yep. Nah, it's going to be some awesome racing, like, and do yourself a favour. I know Claver View's on this weekend, but geez, you should be at the track. If you're not at the track, there's something wrong with you. Like, it's going to be a great event. But if you can't get to the track, look us up on Claver View. It will be on at Claver View this weekend. In fact, the next 4 weeks will be on Claver View, so we're going to be busy. And just a quick note on that, we do apologise for Hobart on the weekend. We had a few races that I think we missed 3 or 4 races at Claver View because of the rain. We didn't have any rain covers for the cameras. You know, it's summertime, we don't expect really to have a lot of rain. So unfortunately, because they're such expensive equipment, we had to cover them up. So we went down to 1 camera at one stage, which was a waterproof camera. But we do apologise to any people at home that missed a couple of races. We did try our best to keep it going. But we had to shut both cameras down, the big ones, because they're not waterproof, and like I said, they're quite expensive. But hopefully we will be able to rectify that in coming weeks and get some covers for these cameras. So that way, if we do get a bit of rain again, we can actually keep filming the racing if it's going to go ahead. And people say, oh, well, why were they racing? Because it wasn't quite wet enough to stop the racing, was it, Rocky? It was just enough to be a pain and make equipment wet.
it was good. And look, kudos to the juniors. That drizzle happened right before they came out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people going, hang on, these are juniors. They don't have the depth of experience that a lot of the seniors. But the juniors just rose to the occasion. They raced well, they raced smart. They weren't, spinning all the time. The track was tricky, and they drove sensationally well. And I spoke to a few of the junior drivers afterwards. They're all really pumped, how well they each did. They all had the right mental outlook. They're all racing the track rather than trying to race each other, and that paid dividends for them. So well done,
and honestly,
all those young stars. And they brought the track back.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and honestly, oh mate, that little bit of rain, mate, it's so racy. Like it was, Jason Oldfield. I'm not sure. I think he broke the lap record in the late models, but I'm unsure of that. I don't know whether it's official or not.
Unofficial.
It was unofficial. Yeah, it was the one broke lap records in the book.
Yeah,
right. I think Callum still holds it.
Yeah.
Which hadn't been updated, and I must apologise to Nathan Ricknell because I'm looking out the track window. He sent me a message and went, I will confirm at a later date, and all I saw was, it's confirmed. No, he's done. And then put my glasses on and then, shivers.
Oh well, these things happen. But anyway, it was fast. Like I was filming that race, and when you're moving the camera quick, you can seem to know when they're actually moving fast. And he was hooking around that track, and it was quite hard to keep up with the camera when he's zooming underneath you, because we're quite close to the track at Hobart when we film, and it's quite hard to film from there when they're hooking as much as what he was. But
the good thing is, I like it when they are there, like looking at some of the vision. It gives you that sensation of speed. Because if you're too far back, that was one of the problems that they had at Calder Park Thunderdome early on in the NASCAR days. They put one camera up high on the spectator banks in turn 1, and of course somebody going into turn 3 is like nearly a kilometre away. So even at 300 kilometres an hour, it doesn't look that fast. If you look at a jumbo jet flying overhead, at nearly 1,000 kilometres an hour, but it's at 35,000 feet. It doesn't look like it's going that fast.
No, it doesn't. No. And Rocky, you would have raced against Gene, wouldn't you, in the NASCARs?
Yeah, Gene was super helpful for me early on in my NASCAR days. help with engine advice and building, as well as chassis setup. And I actually had bought the car that Gene used to race. I only raced it for a very short amount of time, racing Rob and Best, but probably best known for being on Wild World of Sport up there at Surface Paradise at the Indy races. Gene had ended up in the kitty litter, and Steve Cosson came bouncing over the front of the car and did a bit of front end damage, and so they decided to sell the car.
Yeah. Nah, an absolute legend of the sport. Like, I didn't know him personally, but I know his credentials, and honestly, it's going to be an awesome weekend. I can't wait. And like I said, do yourself a favour, everyone, get to the track this weekend, Gene Cook Memorial. It's going to be huge, I think. Chris, before we go, mate, I know it's been a bit of a drag out with the show, but I know you got sponsors and people that you don't, you can't do this without. And this is part of the show where we give you the opportunity to thank all those people. So here's your chance, mate. Go hard.
Yeah, no, obviously Jake from J West Civil, and Brad McMaster from Master Roof, and without them two guys in general, probably wouldn't have even thought about racing again. So that massive influence on even me even getting the car again. So JJM Electrical, he does all our electrical stuff. He's been a mate for 25 years. My brother's Rock Vault. It's a mining electrical company, so he's got his own business, does mining stuff. Linelock Creative, so they did the design. So Cody Gay from Linelock, he done all the design and basically printed it all and done all that. So I think it's come up right when I sort of threw the pink out there because my lovely partner wanted a bit of pink. She only wanted a pink number.
Yep.
So I said, my partner said just a pink number would be nice, and then next thing he come back with that, and she loved it. So that's just what we got.
It looks great.
I reckon it looks awesome, Chris.
Yeah.
Something different, and that's what it's all about. Something different, Don't do anything that everyone else has done.
Yeah, and then obviously my boys that helped me out, young Jaden, he just work ethic on a young 18-year-old, unreal, just does whatever you want. When it helps me wash the car every weekend and all that, and that makes a really big difference. My oldest son, who's 12, Ryan, who had the little outlaw cart with that intake off, so he loves coming in now helping, and they just get so excited. Then they got, there's guys that, like Craig McMaster, Brad's dad, is always floating around. Grinner, which is Chuck Wessing's dad, and Cuba that helps him out. There's no Darren Kane being backs, and obviously helping with Brad, and it's really nice to have someone like him to be able to go over and just, even if you just stand up on the hill and just look at the track, he's a very, very smart man. Yeah. And the snow stuff, so just people like that, and then obviously my fiance Brooke and my boys. Then there's my family, extended family, and Brooke's family. Her family turn up every week to watch me, even when I was in the sprint cars and crash or whatever. They just turn up every week and they love it. So without them, it makes it easier, So, but the ones I'd like to thank to obviously Nathan and Steve from the Super Stand Club. I mean, they work tirelessly, I think, and we all sit back and just reap the rewards for it. But, they were on our messenger page letting us know what hot lap groups we're in, or what, our payout prize money and what we've got to do. Obviously Carrick Speedway and their sponsors. Obviously events like this wouldn't happen. Same with Latrobe Speedway Group, they put all this prize money on for us, and I don't think that goes unnoticed. Mm-hmm. Hence why you got this amount of cars. Then you get people like yourself, Jamie, to have all those shots, because without people like you, it's very hard to promote yourself. Angry Man Photography is another one.
Yep.
Without guys like you to do photos, videos, we really left with no platform to be able to, just send a photo of our car or, give my kid a photo. Yep. So a big thanks to them, even though I get no financial benefit out of them guys. I think Jake Torin and the Scrutineering group too, they don't get a lot of kudos too, the poor scrutineers and that, because, they turn up every week, and just got to look through cars and probably deal with all of our shit when they find something wrong, we'll whinge about it, to say it ain't. And Richmond Speedway Club, which I'm a part of, obviously Michelle Gunn, she's a dream to deal with.
Yeah.
Just them people, without them club people, they just make it so easy for you. We just have to pay our money and sign on the dotted line, and then they must have to process so much paperwork. And then the fans, without them, the show don't happen, does it? Whether who you support, whether you're Callum or a Jetson fan or a Gallagher fan or whoever it may be, it creates what we've got. So yeah, so thank all those people.
Bums in the seats is what makes our sport keep growing,
Absolutely.
and that's what we want. And once again, as you said, Angry Man, look him up this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. He will be more than happy to get photos of your car, and I don't care what anyone says. He is the best in the business, and Tasmania is so lucky to have him down here. So do yourself a favour, get a photo for your sponsors and send it to them in a frame. And I tell you what, they'll love that when they can mount it on the wall and, something to recognise that, they helped out with the race car. I think it's nothing better as a sponsor of a series and sponsor of cars myself. You can't see them, but in the background, I've got all my cars that I've sponsored over the years in frames that I've had given to me have all been put up in a big wall here in my office, and I look up there all the time and think, yeah, that's awesome. So look, do yourself a favour, get a photo off Angry Man and send it to your sponsor, because like I said, he's the best in the business, and we're so lucky to have him here in Tassie. Chris,
that's a really good point. I see a lot of people going out taking photos with a phone camera.
Yep.
It just doesn't cut it. When you blow it up, put it in a frame, just never looks as good as a high quality, high definition action shot.
And you look at the type of cameras we have. I mean, our video cameras are worth thousands of dollars for Claver View and Tas Auto Shots Media. Jared's still shot camera, I know you won't get a lot of change out of 30 grand. And for him to go out and spend that sort of money and to just take photos, and you never really make your money back on equipment when you buy it like that. So, he's gone out of his way to make sure he's got the best equipment to take the best photos. And, and like you said, Rocky, they just not the same off the phone. They just, they don't look the same. You blow them up, they look bloody terrible. And once again, I have to keep saying this, no live streaming at the track when Claver View or myself is on. There's a strict policy in Tasmanian Speedway, no live streaming at the venue. I think
and it's not just when it's Tas Auto Shots night, that's period.
That's period.
You've got to help our sport out, people.
Yep. No, if you've got people watching at home on your profile, we're losing money, and that's, we need to keep Claver View down here, and we want to keep everything else above board. So, please, no live streaming at the track. Like, you can put it up after the meeting, we've got no issues with that. But during the meeting, no live streaming. And if it continues, I reckon we're going to have security walking around very shortly going, you either stop live streaming or you leave the venue. And we don't want that. We don't want to have to kick people out of the venue for live streaming, because we're all there just to enjoy our sport and watch some great racing this weekend. Chris?
Claver View's awesome. Like, I think I must have done so much money in the last 2 weeks just watching something from somewhere. You're sitting at home and it gets to 5 o'clock and you're like, I'm going to put sprint cars on because it's at Warrnambool or it's at Toowoomba or wherever it may be, don't you? Just,
and the best thing is with Claver View now, you don't just have to watch it live. You can pay a monthly subscription of $15, which is cheap as. That's just about the same as Netflix. And you can go and watch every single meeting Australia-wide that Claver View do, which I do a lot. I come home and I actually come home and watch what we've filmed the night before, it's just so we can make little improvements with things that we've sort of made mistakes with, as we all do, we all make mistakes. And I guarantee that you drivers go home and study your racing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I like yourself. I don't know if you recall, I had a bit of an incident with Wayne in the first seat at Latrobe, and it was real bad. But obviously, Wayne's a ripping fella, and I got out of the better, and that poor bugger got bashed into the post, and I sort of went back on it and had a look, and I just went back and had a look, I'm just, what is the parties, and because you hear so many things out there. Someone will say it's your fault, or someone will say it's his fault or whatever. It's really a good thing to go back on and go with your own eyes to check it out and say, oh, yeah, I see,
There's a lot of people with opinions, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Well, thanks, Chris. Stay with us. We'll have a bit of a yak. We'll finish the show and have a bit of a yak afterwards. But everyone, do yourself a favour this weekend. Water North, Gene Cook Memorial on at Carrick Speedway, the inaugural Gene Cook Memorial. So it's going to be, everyone's going to want this, like you said earlier, Chris. It's the first one, so that's the first name in the book. Everyone's going to want it, something shocking, so it's going to be on. It's going to be like racing for sheep stations this weekend. And
not just a sheep station, they're throwing in a cattle ranch, a small mixed farm, and a market cart.
Yep, and you've got 32 of the best super sedan drivers in Australia. There is no if, buts, or whys about it. The cream of the cream are here in Tasmania this weekend to race with our best from Australia down here in Tassie, because you look at the Australian champions that have come out of Tasmania and the drivers that we have down here at the moment. We are no slouches down here. We are just as good as any of these mainland boys. So it's going to be a great weekend. Friday night, racing from 5, gates open at 3, I think, for the public. I think it's the same for Saturday night. So, mate, you've got no excuse. Get to the track. It's going to be a great weekend of racing. But if you can't, make sure you look at Enclave View, and we'll have it all covered on there as well. But honestly, you should be at the track and support your local. I always say support your local venue, because without your support, these venues can't stay open and we can't go racing. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us tonight, Chris. Stick with us. We'll have a bit of a react. Thanks for joining us, Rorky. Best of luck on the weekend, Chris. We hope you come home with a win, mate. It'd be great to see you on that top step or even on the podium, mate. It'd be great to see you up there. And thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. And we'll see you all next week. And, it's going to be awesome. Make sure you're at the track this weekend for the Water North Gene Cook Memorial. Cheers, everyone, and good night.